we have this beautiful model, which we know that the goal of every organism is to live, right? The goal of every living organism is to live. And sometimes all these parts develop to help us live, to help us get through tough times. So we know these parts are not bad. They could be toxic, and their view of reality is skewed. But they originally developed to help you somehow. And so with this I don't care ness, I guess that's kind of what I'm feeling with this part.
Wait, can I raise my hand? Can I ask a question?
Sure. Yeah.
So did the exiled children, did those develop, or were those there? Like, did I create exiles, or were they already there and the managers and the protectors exiled them?
What this probably is right here is there's an exile underneath this shame, memories, pain.
Okay.
This little kid was hurt somehow, a lot of pain. And you could imagine a kid who's in a lot of pain, and maybe the response from your parents is basically, I don't care, I guess, something like that, or fault finding. And so, when kids are under this pain, they need to trust their caregivers, they need to trust their family. And so oftentimes they'll say to themselves, I'm the one who's bad, it's not mom and dad, and they'll really beat themselves up. You're so pathetic, you're so pathetic, you're so pathetic. That's kind of a more that can get you through a lack of a parent's love. But so it sounds like there's this shame, and the outward expression of it is sort of like a manager part. This part, well, I'm not quite sure. It sounds like we're working with an exile of an exile, something like that. Like this shame is usually kept down, and this shame is just like so toxic. But probably underneath that is an innocent part that is just hurting. And to kind of get to that innocent part, let's understand this shame. I mean, I know it sounds like just horribly toxic, and probably all the other parts want to run away from it. But yet here we are, hanging in there with this shame.
And I'm ready. And I'm not scared of difficult kids either. Like, I will tell you, shame, that like, I know that you think you're really tough and that your way is better, but I am sure that I can get to your softer middle. Like, I am sure that I can win you over to someone. And and I'd like to see what you value. I'd like to see what does bring you joy, or whatever did, or I don't know, just get to know you more.
Yeah. And something about this pointless thing, sometimes just can you ask it about this pointless thing? Like,
well, yeah, he's like, it's just, this whole thing just seems ridiculous, this whole exercise, even you just doing this therapy, because nothing ever really works. Like, you're always just going to go back to the same old patterns, the same old thing, always. You've never ever deviated from it.
Now sometimes these shame voice, they can have these beliefs that just aren't really true. There's some truth there. There is. You just overate over the weekend. There is some truth there. So can we acknowledge that truth and also like give this part a more informed view of the world? Because it's true, this cycle is here, and that's true, but it's different as well.
What could I say to him to kind of counteract, or like maybe show him a different perspective?
Kind of like, and it's the art of judo. You receive it. Let's receive the truth. I hear you. Okay. You're right about this. And also, and we could say something like, and hey, shame, I'm listening to you. I'd like you to listen to me. You don't have to believe me, but I at least like you to listen. We're not trying to change your opinions, by the way. This part will probably be forever deriding, or not deriding, and maybe not forever, but for a while, this part will be deriding. This part will be derisive and scornful. And we're not trying to change that. But hopefully this part can listen, or at least hear you. Yeah, kind of, let's just, in a calm but firm way, kind of like acknowledge the truth of this part, but also like how it's different, or in some ways it's different.
Okay. Okay, Shane. I hear you. There have definitely been some patterns, some reoccurring patterns in my life, and there's definitely truth to what you're saying. Do you think that it might be possible that there has been any good? Or is it all bad? I think he's saying, I don't know. I'm not sure what the good looks like. I haven't really been able to appreciate it or see it or evaluate. So I'm not sure if it's there. I doubt it, but maybe. We're like in the matrix and it's on another level that I don't see. And I'm like, okay, well, would you mind if I like presented you with some other things in my life that I don't know, that might show you a different perspective? I'm not saying it's not true what you're saying. Like, it is true. I completely, totally see what you're talking about. But there is a lot of good there too, if you want to hear it. He's like, he's like, I mean, if you're good at knowing people or whatever, he's like, I'm just gonna crap on whatever you say. You know that, right? So like, yeah, okay.
Okay.
That's okay. You know, I have these patterns and I have this self-image that does tend to be toxic. That is true. And stupid and silly. But I also have this part of me that is able to see the good in almost everybody. I can usually talk to anyone and really appreciate them. Can you see any evidence of that in my life, in your seats that you've been sitting in? He's like, well, you haven't done a good job of that with your kid. You haven't accepted him very well. It's true. Sometimes I do, though. And actually, in the beginning, in those first few years, just the last few years have been really hard for me. It's true. I've been probably dealing with a lot of other voices in my head and parts that maybe make me sabotage it. But I've also been able to help a lot of people. Like, you know, and I'm always giving like a lot of money, but not just money, like helping people get jobs, helping them moving their furniture, like sitting with them crying, like watching their children, you know, people that I don't even know, you know, people in the street, letting them stay with us, letting them live with us for months. You know, seeing like the look on kind of war-torn mothers and recognizing it from across the room and being able to like step in and, you know, anonymously clean their house and cook them dinners and set them up for a few months. And I don't
know. Yeah.
I have a really high level of joy with my interactions with pretty much all other human beings in my life. I actually think I have a high level of of joy and happiness outside of my body image. I think I break those patterns, and I think that I don't stick to that paradigm that you're
Yeah.
kind of showing me.
Yeah.
He's saying you probably just do those things to feel better about yourself. You're probably not doing them to actually help them. You're just doing it for the benefit of of feeling good. It's not even out of love, like, no, I actually will challenge that. I will actually challenge that. Maybe sometimes it's a pattern that I will always help, and I will always love, and I will always care for. But there's been lots of times where I didn't have to do it. I did, and I did it purely out of love with zero expectations. I mean, I don't ever have expectations. I think the fact that it makes me feel good isn't a bad thing. I don't think that's a selfish thing. I think that's just a consequence that just happens. But it's not the motivation.
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
I don't know. Do you need to go? Like, what time
No,
is it?
no,
Oh
no.
gosh,
Let's keep it. No. We started.
Okay,
we started late. No. This is fine.
Okay.
I'm wondering. So I guess, can you ask this part? It seems like this part has a compulsion to criticize. I think it could. I think it.
Yeah.
I think part of it hears you. I think, but also it always has a retort, right? Oh, you're doing it because you're selfish, and probably with that most recent statement that no, I'm not doing it because I'm selfish. I wonder what it says to that, but I'm expecting a retort. Maybe not though.
What it says to.
Like, no, I'm not all selfish.
Yeah.
I'm not all selfish. I do things for love.
He was like, he's just kind of like smiling a smirk and like shaking his head, like, yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Believe whatever you want to believe.
Okay. All right. I wonder.
I'm curious. I'd like to ask it.
Sure.
I'd like to ask it if it has ever tried to do something nice. Kind
we're getting there. Yeah. Like, does this part ever get tired of smirking? Does it get tired of needing to deride you? Like, maybe it. Oftentimes these parts feel stuck, right? But maybe not. I don't know.
No. So when I asked him that, like, it's more of like did something happen when you did something out of love, or like, this is the feeling? That's why I wanted to ask it that. And it's a pretty easy, it's like, yeah, all the time. Like, and this is true. Like, when I was young, my brothers would be so mean, and unkind. And I would get confusing messages from my parents. And so, but then I would go to church, and I would just work so hard on forgiving and forgetting. And like, every day I would wake up and I would like do sweet things for them. Like, I would make them breakfast, or I would, buy them something. I was the only one that had money because I had like this monopoly for babysitting and taking care of people's kids. And I don't know. And I would do it for them, and they might receive it, a little bit. But then they would treat me like garbage after,
Yeah.
And this part is saying, like, he's very jaded because every time, and he's saying, you were there, like, you would do it unceasingly. Like, that little girl in the blue dress with the white bow in her hair would give and give and give, and I still would. And he is almost like, it was really hard to watch. I think it was really hard to watch her just get trampled, almost like that other protective friend or the sister. So he's like another brother, that I think another part, either or exile, that was created because like the toughness, if love didn't matter, If
Yeah.
love wasn't the goal or the motivator, if you could keep like the sarcasm and the shame there, it hurts less than having love be rejected, or
Yep.
like,
Yep.
you know, I think that's, is that why you're so angry? And like, and there's like a head nod. Yeah. It's like,
Mm.
yeah, he's like, it just doesn't work, you know?
Mm. Mm.
Um,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's like all those times he's like, it's good for nothing. And you would do it over and over and over again. And you would just forgive and you would forget. And then you would try again and you would get slammed. And then to make it worse, sometimes it would be good for like a whole day or maybe two. And you would feel like maybe they love you now. Maybe they like you now. And then the next day, they would just slam you down and make you feel like nothing. Like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
you're the
Yeah.
loser. You're the loser. You're the loser for letting them do that to you over and over and over again. Like, you know,
Yeah.
any person with any self-preservation would have just given up and like, gone to do something else, you know. But you just were so stupid. You just kept trying and trying and trying.
Yeah. 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 This part was, as a little girl, yeah, kids, they're not, you know.
There's another part that's trying to come in, and it's saying like, you know, as an adult, if you were to go back and look at these childish interactions, they wouldn't have been that bad.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
bet
Yeah.
you would
That's,
have
yeah.
watched
Yeah.
these things
Sure. Sure. Sure.
with your
Sure.
brothers, and you would have said, "That's
Sure.
harmless." All brothers kind of do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. We can ask
that's
that
trying to come
adult. Yeah. Okay. Good recognition. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. This, this shame, the protective, so there's protective side of shame in a way. I think you can see this young girl, and the shame is speaking. When it speaks, it sounds like it's still kind of believing that you're her. I know, it was kind of saying like, you asked for this, it never comes back. Um, you know, one thing we can maybe do is just ask like, hey shame, like how old do you think I am now? But just in general, I think we're hearing the story behind shame, why it is constantly, unceasingly, yeah,
angry and mad,
destructive and
and
angry. And
I guess you're right. Now I'm feeling the frustration. Now I'm
yeah.
feeling he's just
Yeah.
like, this is so futile. Like this is so, it's watching someone shoot it's almost like a drug addict, like watching them relapse over and over and over and over again. I think
Yeah.
is how he feels like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.